Let's go back to the guest line for our weekly chat with the quarterback, Drake Maye. Drake Maye is brought to you on WEEI Afternoons by Northeast Men's Health, the experts in treating men's sexual health with 6 New England offices, or at northeastmenshealth.com. By Windward Mental Health. Start your healing journey now at windwardmentalhealth.com. And by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when your drains don't flow. Drake Maye, how we doing this week?
What's going on? How you guys doing?
We're great. We're watching a football team, talking about a football team that just won the AFC Championship and is going to the Super Bowl. So it's good times for all. I do need to start off, though, and I'm sure you were prepped for this question. A little bit of an uproar on social media. We got some Twitter doctors talking about your right shoulder. So I need to ask you, did you suffer a right shoulder injury on Sunday against the Broncos?
I'm feeling good. We got some extra rest, and really the only thing is from the game, I think just the built-up of throwing for, this is what, almost, including training camp, 30 weeks straight of throwing and 4 days a week. It can add up. But I think we got some extra rest, and I'm feeling good, and ready to go for the Super Bowl.
All right, so just a quick follow-up there. Ready to go for the Super Bowl. Do you expect to be limited in any way, either on the practice field or on the game field over the next 2 weeks?
I don't think it's too early to say. I think I'm right now, as I'm feeling good, and looking forward to getting out there and prepping for the Seahawks and prepping to get ready to go.
So with all the hype and the hoopla going on right now, Drake, and I know how laser focused you are in the moment, the biggest game in your life is always the next game. I just wanted to ask if you allow yourself to take a minute and just think about, how much joy you've brought to the region, how instrumental you've been in the turnaround of a team that was 4-13 and is now 17-3 going to the Super Bowl. What it's like for all these fans who went crazy during a blizzard to go to their friends' houses to celebrate together because they couldn't go to their favorite bar or watering hole. And now all the videos we're all watching of fans reacting and crying and hugging together. Like, do you just take a moment to revel in your role in that and how awesome it is?
I really have, and I think it's it's cool you mentioned that. I think it's awesome what football can do to the community, what it can do to a city, what it does to our country. What a sport it is, and just thankful that it's taken everybody. It hasn't been me. It's been a full team effort, full organizational effort. It's been awesome to be a part of it, and I'm just glad to try to do my part and keep on trying to do my part to help us win the big one. I think that's the most important thing. And it's been it'll be cool, I think, after to reflect on it. But I think why waste some time reflecting on it when I can prepare for the Super Bowl.
Drake, over the course of this season, when we talk to you on these Mondays or Tuesdays, you've told us a number of times you don't really care about the stats or throwing it X number of times or running it X number of times. Do you feel like this postseason has sort of been the perfect example of that, going up against these 3 elite defenses? Maybe the numbers aren't fantasy football numbers, but you continue to win and survive.
Exactly. I think the wins, come up with a win in the win column is the most important thing, and I've tried to have that attitude all year and not change that. So it's been awesome for me to be a part of it. I'm trying to do my part. I think we can play better offensively, and I know we are holding ourselves to a higher standard. But for us and what we're doing to try to win the game with how our defense is playing in those conditions, I think last week was just taking care of the football, and we got 7 when our defense put us in a good spot, and ended up getting the extra 3, which went a long way and took us to the Super Bowl.
All right, so as to the game itself, Sunday in Denver, how much more difficult and impactful were the conditions, even more so than you anticipated? And how about that crowd? I mean, I know the Foxborough crowd has been awesome this season, especially this postseason, but that Denver crowd was loud on TV back home.
Yeah, it was hostile. It was definitely hostile. Credit to Denver for not only the fans, but the team they have. They're a great football team. Really well coached. They're great on defense, and I think it makes it even more special. Like I said, going on the road and winning that and celebrating on their field, it was pretty special. So I think that's the credit to them. But at the same time, I think that crowd and what our defense and what our stadium does at home, you can understand why home field advantage is such a big deal. And the conditions were what they were. I think we've had some games this season where it's been like that, and from there, I think just you had some guys slip in and the ball was wet, so we tried to take care of the football and go the extra length of doing that, and we did that.
Patriots quarterback Drake Maye here on WEEI Afternoons. At some point, did you kind of realize, I know Bill Belichick used to have a phrase, the game declares itself, the type of game it's going to be. At some point, did you realize this was not going to be a high-scoring affair, that maybe your legs would be just as important as your arm, and that, it was going to be played at sort of a low-scoring tempo throughout the day, especially when the snow hit in the third quarter?
I think that was kind of the biggest thing. Coming out of half, we were excited to get a chance to start with the football and go put a drive together, and really should put up 7. I credit of we've got to score when we're inside the 5. I think we're executing down there, but I think it's a good point. Coach McDaniels always mentions that, what type of game it is, and what type of games it's like in these playoffs. When the defenses are great, the coaches are well prepared for situational football, and I think when the game declares itself and you kind of know what type of game it is, we try to play to the advantage side of it. And like I mentioned earlier, those 3 points that we got out of halftime, we felt like we were going to be able to move the ball better in the second half, and then the conditions hit, and you're just at that point trying to savor that we're ahead by 3.
Oh, it was a nail biter all the way through. It was Heart Attack City all the way up until your final run, the 7-yard scamper that would seal the deal. I think we all just sort of want to ask, take us through, walk us through, calling your own number, not letting the guys in on that. It was such a gutsy call. And how nervous were you thinking, if I get these 6 yards, I think I can send us to the Super Bowl?
That's all I was thinking about, being able to pick up the first down and take us to the Super Bowl. That's really the main point. I was trying to, have the guys give the full action of running the same play we were running a few times there late in the fourth, and trying to get the full action, and was able to, win the edge and pick up the first down. It was a pretty cool moment, and probably a moment I'll remember for the rest of my life. That was definitely one of the coolest moments of my career.
And we got to see some cool footage of that. Have you seen the mic'd up footage of that boot? And did you realize you make so much noise when you're running for a first down?
Yeah, I've heard a few. Some people make fun of me for my grunting, I think, when I run, but I think it's like anybody probably. I'm not sure how actors feel or watching their own acting, but I think watching your own mic'd up side, I think it's a little weird, so I don't really like going back and watching them unless it's something funny.
Yeah, and those of us that have dirty minds, I'm just going to tell you, it sounded like you were doing something else, and we'll move on to Fitzy's question now.
How great was it to have Mac Hollins back in the game? He kind of set the tone early with his walk-in, doing the Warriors routine. Now you guys are the ultimate road warriors, 9-0. And then he makes 2 huge catches, including the flea flicker in the third quarter.
No doubt, he's huge. He's huge for our football team. He's huge for what he brings to the team as his personality. He's a tone setter. He's one of those guys as a receiver that doesn't play like a receiver. He does the dirty work and plays for the team and blocks in the run game. And he's great to have out there. Made some big plays for us, and looking forward to having to make some more plays upcoming next Sunday.
You've seen that defense since training camp. How good is the New England Patriots defense, and why does it seem that no one wants to acknowledge how good they are?
They're good at all 3 levels. I think that's one of the coolest things I've seen is kind of each person kind of come into their role. I think you see Craig Woodson and you see Milton coming in here and Barmore and some of those guys that have made plays and done it for the Pats in the past, and Gonzo. Just seeing how they gel together with new additions, Milton and CD and Craig, and guys from last year like Hawk and Gonzo and B Moore doing their thing still, and Ellis, and seeing pieces that we've added like Spillane, just kind of how they gel together, and they're hitting the stride at the right time. It's been fun to watch, and it's really been it's been their show, and we got to do our part to execute better and get back to what the kind of brand of football and offense that we like to play. Trying to figure that out and get back to it.
So what did your family say to you afterward? I'm dying to know, your parents, your brothers, did your brothers bust your chops? Did they give you a hard time, or did they finally all right, you're the man, you're going to the Super Bowl?
I think my parents were just excited. I mean, what an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. And the biggest thing, I was trying to find them on the field after the game. I was, freezing and almost probably frostbite or something. But, no, they're excited and looking forward to, being a chance to get to the Super Bowl.
Building off of that, I wasn't aware of this. Apparently 10 years ago, you went to the Super Bowl, watched the Panthers, went with your dad. How big a full circle moment is this? There's so many dads and kids out there. Now your dad gets to watch the Super Bowl with you playing in it. Have you thought about that?
I have. I definitely have. I'll probably think about it more when I get out there to San Francisco, this week, and it'll be definitely more full circle seeing that moment. But it's pretty cool to think about. You think about my dad playing quarterback and me playing quarterback, and being able to watch my favorite team at that time, go to the Super Bowl and playing a quarterback of their statue like Peyton Manning is one of the coolest memories and something I'll never forget. I appreciate my dad for giving me one of those moments. And I know there's a bunch of kids and probably father-son combos that are either watching the game or they're lucky enough like I was to be able to go to it to enjoy it. And they always say it could be you one day, and it's it's real. So it's look what happens.
How excited is Mrs. Maye for the next couple of weeks and for your incredible opportunity? And have you guys had a chance yet to sort of sit down and discuss? I'm sure Coach Vrabel has been on you guys about this and will continue to preach and harp about it, trying to manage all the distractions that come with it, because this is the biggest television program in the world and truly one of the great international entertainment spectacles every year. So how excited or nervous are you about that angle?
Oh man, my wife's super excited. She's great at enjoying the moments, and you're reminding me of the joy that comes with playing this sport and the platform that we have of giving the glory and our faith and shared experiences and what our lives are like, kind of behind the scenes a little bit. And then I think Coach Vrabel is great. The first thing he said in the team meeting the other day was we're not going to the Super Bowl, we're going to win the Super Bowl, and that's the mindset. And especially in my position, the amount of work that goes into it, I'm not going to try to change what I put into it. And at this point, to come this far and try to change things up or do something a different way, we're trying to keep the same recipe and try to get one more, because that would be pretty cool.
Drake, obviously you've developed a great relationship with Will Campbell, your left tackle. I think you had a moment with him after the boot play. You kind of headbutted him. He's a guy that's had his ups and downs, as any left tackle would with the challenges he's faced, but he had a great day in Denver. How special was it to celebrate that moment with him?
It's been special. It's been special all year with Will. Be able to go through the same kind of timeline in our lives, and be able to see the ups and downs of our rookie years. And he's had a lot more ups than I did last year in my rookie year. So it's been one of the veterans and the older guys are reminding the rookies of how lucky and fortunate that they are to experience something like this. How it's not normal in their first year, and I don't think you appreciate that till later on in your career. And it's been awesome for Will, and you're proud of him for just keeping his head on straight and being able to battle back and play his butt off. And really, those guys, all five of them up front, have done a great job all year. And we've seen some great fronts, some great players, and one of the I think they're probably the best 3 or 4 in the league. And they've had some players that we have back that they wish they had back, but we all do. And I'm sure I do every game and think about them. So it's part of the game, and knowing that if you win more than plays than you lose, then we'll oftentimes be happier than thinking about the bad ones.
3 great defenses you've had to make your way through to get to the Super Bowl, and now you go up against one hell of a football team in the Seattle Seahawks. Had a chance to take a look at them. What do you think of them? And do you have any relationship with Sam Darnold? Have you ever crossed paths with him before?
Yeah, we played him last year. Yeah, played him here at home, and I know he got a great defense, great head coach. He's a defensive guy that they do a lot of great things on defense. They're good. They're good at all levels. They're good up front, another good front, another good in the back end. They got some great players, playing DBs. So I know they got special receiver and a couple. Sam's been playing great this year. I got to know him at the Pro Bowl last year, and I'm a big fan of his game and how he represents himself and how he carries himself. So looking forward to that matchup, and I'm sure it'll be exciting. And it's a Super Bowl. I mean, what more? How more exciting can you get than saying those 2 words?
Before we get to may or may not, what was it like Sunday night, the non-traditional? Usually you get on a plane and you fly back. You guys spent the night in Denver. What was celebrating in Denver like, and then flying home the next day?
I thought it was a great idea. Be able to spend some time with your teammates, enjoy the win. We played some cards, had some fun, and got to experience the memories and the win with family and friends. And I think it was a great idea to stay, and obviously the conditions helped make that decision. But it was awesome for us to spend some extra time and another night to enjoy the win and think about returning back home the next day.
All right, time for may or may not.
May or may not. It's time for a weekly peek. May or may not. Inside the likes, loves, mind, and style of New England's quarterback. May or may not. May not. on WEEI Afternoons.
All right, Drake, this is an interesting cottage industry that's popped up in the social media era here. So I'm going to ask you, internet doctors diagnosing your injuries on social media who've never actually treated you or seen you, may or may not.
I'm sure they're real smart and probably have a lot of credit for the work they do. But like I said, they don't know exactly, and haven't never seen me in person, or a lot of times they're making an educated guess, so may not.
I alluded to it earlier. Obviously, the idea of people getting together and going crazy watching the game. I've watched a million videos of people freaking out when you got those 7 yards at the end of the game. And there's a lot of famous videos like this from the end of Super Bowl 49 as well, Drake. So watching highlight fan reaction videos may or may not.
Oh, it's one of the best things. It's one of the coolest things about sports, how funny and even laughable, when the other team. I remember my brother hit a big shot against Kentucky, and watching some of the Kentucky bars back in Lexington was one of the funniest things I remember. I still remember the guy's face on that one that went crazy. So I'm a fan.
So you've seen these everywhere. Speaking of the fans, the I Love Drake Maye T-shirts and hoodies. Your wife had one. Bill Chisholm, the owner of the Celtics, had one on. So I Love Drake Maye hoodies, may or may not.
I mean, I think it'd be hard for me to say may not. I mean, I appreciate all the support, and I think it's obviously something that I would never tell somebody to wear, but if they choose to support, and shout out to I think the kid or the guy who started it all on some famous fan page it turned into a big hit.
Obviously, the game is taking place in Santa Clara, just outside San Francisco. Beautiful part of the country. So the Bay Area and NorCal life may or may not.
I had some family that lived out there for a while, and I'm not the biggest fan of California, but I don't mind the weather out there and getting out there to maybe play some golf. And in this circumstances, it's not too bad to go out there and play in the Super Bowl.
I don't know if you saw, but your buddy Hunter Henry and his wife did some snow angels, continuing a tradition that goes back to 2001. Lonnie Paxton famously did it down in Foxborough in the Snow Bowl when they beat the Raiders. So I'm wondering for Drake Maye, snow angels or snowball fights, may or may not?
Oh, for sure. Not at the moment after the game. It was a little bit, got a little freezing from the snow and I think the emotions. But I think my wife and Hunter's wife, Parker, they did some snow angels so she did them for me. But I'm definitely, snowball fight. I love, fire some snowballs at somebody.
Great area to also walk around and do some sightseeing and whatnot. Whenever you travel, sightseeing on foot and taking in tourist life, may or may not.
I think I'm a fan. I think not a multi-hour deal, but I think the big sightseeing stuff, and maybe go seeing the Bay Bridge or some of these famous things in London, Big Ben. I think I would definitely be willing to go see. I'm not a huge 3-hour tour guy, but definitely some of the cool things.
All right, time now for the quarterback question of the week. The quarterback question of the week is brought to you by Northeast Men's Health, the experts in treating men's sexual health with 6 New England offices, or at northeastmenshealth.com. This week's question comes from Paul in Peabody, and he asks, do you expect to be nervous or have extra butterflies in the moments leading up to the Super Bowl kickoff? And if you have those, how do you deal with that kind of anxiety?
Oh, 100%. I think it's the Super Bowl. And, last week you feel, as the weeks go on in the playoffs, you feel more and more, anxious and excited for the game. And I think after the first play or maybe the first throw that you complete or first, few plays, after the first pass, I'm usually, pretty good to go. And, the nerves settle and you get ready to, find your game and find your rhythm, and looking forward to feeling the experience. It's hard to predict what I'm exactly going to feel, but I know the national anthem is often the times where you kind of have a few moments to reflect, like, man, this is cool. So looking forward to, experiencing that. And I know the guys will be pumped up, and that's what you have coaches and teammates for, to use them to come together and fight to win the Super Bowl.
I know I mentioned earlier, Drake, at the tail, here we are at the tail end of the interview. I'm not sure if we'll get a chance to talk to you again before the Super Bowl, but how excited the entire region was and how people are freaking out. Andy's mentioning the I Love Drake Maye sweatshirts. I just wanted to wish you luck and tell you how exciting it's been because my 12-year-old woke up this morning and said, Dad, I cannot wait for the Super Bowl. Drake Maye is going to dominate. So you got a lot of people that are rooting for you back home, man.
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. Yeah, tell your son go Pats. So thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Drake. Good luck in the Super Bowl. Good luck in the prep, and get healthy.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Go Pats. Peace.
Go Pats. Peace. You got a little peace at the end there.
Right,
Drake
he's
Maye.
in a good place.
He's in a very good place. We'll revisit some of those answers, including we asked the horse, right to the horse's mouth, his health status. We'll revisit that next here on WEEI Afternoons.